Good morning, everybody. We are headed off on today's adventure. We're going to head to a place called Echo Bluff, and then from there we're going to head to a place called Big Springs, which is the biggest spring in the state of Missouri, I guess. And then from there we'll just kind of see what we want to do. We might go down to Mammoth Springs in Arkansas. I'm not sure whether I want to do that today or not because it is kind of a long drive. Otherwise, we might just kind of visit some of the stores in the area or just kind of drive down the country road. So we'll see. We'll see how the day goes. All right. So we are off. Enjoy the ride, everybody. That is the coolest thing ever. We got to turn around and go back, guys, as soon as we find a spot. Somebody told me the other day about this, and I didn't figure that there was any way on God's green earth that I would ever see this. But I guess there are some wild horse herds that just kind of roam free around here. And some of them, I guess, are unusual because they're white. And they were born black, I guess, and turned whiter. So this right here Missouri 19 south for is part of that herd of horses. Pretty cool that we get to see those. So there they are, right there. Well, that, my friends, was a pretty cool start to our day because I highly doubted, especially based upon my past history with being able to find wildlife and things like that, that I would be able to see those horses. I figured that probably we would go home empty-handed and no chance of seeing any wild horses in the Ozarks. And so to see them just kind of out of nowhere pop up was really cool. A great start to the day. The boys thought so too, and they were so good. They didn't say anything, they didn't bark, they didn't whine, they just very quietly sat there and watched the horses. Pretty awesome. One last look at them as we go down the bridge. The other really cool thing about seeing those horses is I got to sit there and watch them for a good long time before other people came up and parked and stuff and disturbed them. So that was really cool to get to see too, because I got to watch them while they were quietly grazing and just doing their thing, not with tons of people around. So that was really awesome. So we're passing over the bridge now to Sinking Creek. Sinking Creek is created by the springs, I guess, that are right behind this place where we're going, which is Echo Bluff. So we'll get to see, I think, from what I understand, we'll get to see kind of where Sinking Creek is started from this spring, and then we'll get to see Echo Bluff, which I guess if you shout across it, someone was telling me you can hear the echo, of course, because that's why it's called Echo Bluff. But if you shout in different places, you can hear the echoes different ways. So not quite sure exactly what that means, but I thought it'd be a pretty cool spot to at least go and see. And it'll give the boys and I a chance to get out and walk around a little bit too. So
Your destination is on the right.
So one of the things that I read and forgot to mention earlier is that Echo Bluff State Park actually once upon a time used to be Camp Zoe's youth camp. And it was founded in the 1920s and then was eventually bought by the state of Missouri to make the state park out of. You guys want to say hi? Tommy says no, I want to go. Let's go. So we came down here to kind of take a walk along the beach, right along the current river. Beautiful, bright, blue, clear water again. It's just lovely down here. Someone has found his happy place on this trip. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm guessing this is Echo Bluff here, which is really cool. I like the formation of it. Loving all that fall color, especially over there in that area. It looks very pretty. Cool area. Apparently that water's nice and clean because Winston won't drink it if it's not. Alright, that was a really cool park back there, Echo Bluff State Park in Missouri. Beautiful place, wonderful place for animals and dogs. Tommy and Winston saw so many little animals running around there and even saw a deer go running across the river. So now we're headed to Big Spring, which is about an hour, I guess, away from here. So we will head that direction and see what that's all about. It's supposed to be the biggest spring in Missouri. I'm enjoying the fall colors. They're turning more vibrant by the day, every day that we're here, and this is just beautiful down through here. So hopefully that continues to be the case. Not sure where Google's taking me this time, but it's always an adventure.
In 600 feet, make a U-turn. Continue on County Road 19262 for 1 mile. In 800 feet, turn left onto Missouri 19 South.
Okay, buddies, I have to roll this back up.
Continue on Missouri 19 South for 34 miles.
Alright, so we are headed to Big Spring. We made a wrong turn somewhere back around Echo Bluff, so we had to backtrack a little bit. But we are almost there, about 3 miles away, I think, or maybe 2. Alright, it looks like this is it. Now we just have to see if we can find a parking spot. Looks like there's some right here. Alright, so we made it to Big Springs after Tommy and Winston became junior bark rangers. We've made it to Big Spring. Unfortunately, there's a cross-country meet going on, so there's lots of people and crowds and stuff, especially down where the meet's going on, but it doesn't look like too many people down here by the spring, so we'll see how this all goes.
Just finished at Bistro Fried Rice. Good Thai food in Mountain View, Missouri.
I am pupless today. The boys are going to stay home because I'm going to go to the Laura Ingalls Wilder Museum and Preservation site. This has actually been something that I have wanted to do for a really long time, like since I was 9 or 10 years old. So I'm pretty excited today to get to go. We're going to kind of take the long way to get there a little bit and just kind of go and take our time and see Laura Ingalls and maybe see some of the towns and stuff around there too. All right, here we go.
In 1,000 feet, your destination will be on the left.
Okay, so we made it to Rocky Ridge Farm, where Laura Ingalls Wilder lived the last years of her life. It says they moved here, her and her husband Almanzo, and their daughter Rose moved here in 1894, and they lived here until they passed. This is where the Little House books were written, was here at this farm. Alright, so first part of this is the museum part. So it talks a little bit about Laura's life, and then also the life of her husband Almanzo and her daughter Rose. First things that you see here is a book that explains a little bit about why Laura wrote the Little House books and where she lived and how she got the titles of each one of those books. One of kind of the central things of Laura's books is Pa's fiddle and how he would take it out at night and play it. And so here's Pa's fiddle. So this is, I believe, the second house on the farm that was built by Rose for Laura and Almanzo's retirement house. So I guess I was wrong. This was not the first house that Laura and Almanzo and Rose lived in when they moved here. They actually lived in a house that's no longer there, that was right over there in that grassy area, kind of where the picnic tables and stuff are, in that cabin. When they first moved here, it was an existing cabin that they started out living in, and then from there they had built on another room to that cabin, and they lived there for about 2 years, and then they took off the new room and moved it down the hill, rolled it down the hill on logs, and that became the foundation for this house. So that was the kitchen, where that all started, which is this little corner right here where the vine is, on this house, and then from there they just added on. So it took them quite a while to add on. They finally finished it up and added the last little part here in 1917, which is this part here with the big chimney and the porch coming out the other end. So kind of cool to know that they built their house piece by piece by piece. I don't know how much you're going to be able to hear because they're mowing, because that's what they always do when I turn on the video camera. But this is the rock house that Laura Ingalls Wilder and Almanzo lived in. It was considered their retirement house, so it was built by their daughter Rose. And it was given to them as a gift in 1928 about or so. And they didn't really want to move in here. They were happy in their farmhouse where they had that they had built and lived, but they did eventually end up moving in here for about 10 years, and then, or 7 years, something like that. And then they moved after Rose moved, because Rose moved into their original house, and then after she moved out and went on her own adventures, they moved back into their little white farmhouse down at the bottom of the hill. So still kind of a cool house to see. This is where the first 4 Little House books were written, because it was all modernized. So it had electricity and running water for the first time, and even an electric stove instead of a wood stove. And so because Laura didn't have all the chores to do that she would have had down in the little white house at the bottom of the hill, she had extra time to write, and so she made use of that and wrote the first 4 books in the Little House series. So we just finished up at the Laura Ingalls Wilder House and Museum. Pretty cool place to come and visit. It was a place that I've wanted to come for a really long time. Now it makes me motivated to go see her other houses. There's one in DeSmet, South Dakota, one in Wisconsin, one down in Independence, Kansas, and one in Minnesota, I believe, as well. So maybe that'll be on my bucket list now. But for the time being, I'm going to drive into Mansfield and see what it looks like around there. Maybe find a bite to eat, and then kind of start headed back towards the camper in Danny.
Well, Mommy's out on an adventure at Laura Ingalls Wilder, and we are on an adventure of our own down a county road that's right next to our campground. Oh, look at the fall colors starting. Might even be some deer or rabbits or squirrels. Uh-huh. Look at those leaves falling. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit. Had kind of a gust of wind come through and shake them loose. Good boys waiting. Are you guys learning manners? Mommy's been teaching you manners on your walks? Must be some animal smells in there. Oh boy. Guys, look at this big leaf. Look at how huge that is. Hard to tell, but here it is compared to my hand. That's big. That leaf's about ready to drop. There's one dropping. So I just noticed something. Winston's like the fall version of the Boston Terrier. He's turning brown. Well, even in the fall, we find some ticks. It's in a bag, so we'll put them in the freezer, because that actually is a pretty humane way to take care of the problem, because it just lets them go to sleep and not be able to get any other doggies. Oh, and then they won't get any other doggies. Come on.
Winston, stop digging.
Say no. Whoever wins this battle gets the whole hot dog.
Tommy.
Tommy. No barking. Tommy.